Most businesses waste money on lead generation Facebook ads because their forms just simply don't convert. They either load super slow, they're super complex, they ask way too many questions, and ultimately it makes a horrible user experience. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use Facebook's built-in feature, Facebook Instant Forms, to generate the maximum amount of leads using Facebook ads. And this is the exact setup that I'm using to fill my pipeline for my own agency with qualified leads on autopilot. For example, in the last 30 days, I was able to spend $4,500 and generate 62 leads at a $73 cost per lead, many of which are converting to a call directly thereafter. So the setup for this is super simple, and I'm going to show you exactly how to build this step by step right now. All right, so open up your Facebook ad account, and what we're going to be doing right here is, first of all, going to create. Very simple, and we're going to be selecting the leads objective for this. And you can see one of the options here is we can use website and instant form, so it's an option to use both. Just an instant form. You can also use messenger, conversions, and calls, right? And so we're going to be using the instant form, which again is Facebook's built-in lead form that we can go ahead and automatically use. Now, before we actually build this, the main benefit of using the instant form is that it's native to Facebook, and so it loads super quickly. It's super easy to experience on your phone because it's just automatically on the Facebook dashboard, and it automatically pre-populates their information from their Facebook account into these instant forms, creating so much faster speed, so much less friction, and increases the likelihood that people will actually take the time to click on your ad, complete the form, and ultimately, if they don't, complete the next step and go ahead and book in a call with you, you've now gotten their lead information so you can contact them and get them into that next step. So that's why the instant form method is so powerful when it comes to lead generation. And I'm seeing more and more businesses going to use instant forms. So we're going to go ahead and click on continue here. Now, what we're going to do from here is, you can name your campaign whatever. So whoever you're targeting. So I'm just going to go audience 1. This is a leads campaign, and then just, your business name. Now, what we're going to be doing is always use the campaign budget. Just makes Facebook a lot more effective, gives it more control to spend on whatever's working best. Usually go for about $100 per day as recommended, gives it enough budget and enough data to really get the best results. So we're going to leave that there. Everything else we can leave alone right here. And then we're going to go next right here. So I already have this pre-selected right here, but if this doesn't show instant forms, what you will see is if you open up these options here, you can go website and instant forms, which I don't typically use, but you can adjust your bids for website conversions and instant conversions if they're equal or whatever. So you could play around with this. I haven't looked into this too much, but again, could be interesting. But again, you're losing that full optimization and simplicity of just using the instant form. So I honestly recommend just going for the instant form unless for some reason you want to have kind of both running at the same time or testing both. You can also do website and calls, but again, we're going to select single here and we're going to go instant forms. Now you will have to accept Meta's lead terms for this page. So make sure you go ahead and open that up and just click accept, and then you will be able to use Facebook's instant forms. Now you're going to also need to select your page, and then you will have your performance goal, which is going to be maximize number of leads. Now, a bit more of an advanced strategy is once you're generating quite a bit of leads, I think Facebook says you need to generate about 200 a month. Once you're generating that, you can switch to maximizing for the number of conversion leads, which will be tied to your CRM. So if you move a lead from a lead to a booked call to a closed deal, right, you can have Facebook optimize for leads that ultimately lead to higher value interactions, such as booked calls and eventually converting as a client in a B2B case, right? And so that is obviously going to give Facebook even more data. But again, you need to have a lot of more conversions in order to make this valuable. To start with, you can go ahead and just select maximum number of leads. And honestly, you can probably just leave it like that for the foreseeable future. We're going to try to filter for lead quality before they ever even fill out the form. So, right, so we don't need to worry about this too much because we want to put some filters in place so that only the people that we're interested in, our ideal client, is really filling out that form, which is a huge key when it comes to setting up the instant form. So maximum number of leads right here, and then we can go ahead and move on right here. We're not going to use dynamic creative. We're not going to use catalog. The budget and schedule, all that is good. And then as far as controls go, this is where we can put in our actual country and location right here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and select, the United States as well here. Right, so we'll do Canada and the United States. So select and target whatever locations that you want to go ahead and go after. And for this, if you have a very narrow audience, honestly, even if you do in that case, we've tested this, and I would still recommend keeping this fairly broad. Facebook essentially reads your ads. It understands who you're targeting based on your ad creative and your copy of who your ideal audience is. So you don't need to do too much in the way of targeting and try to really narrow it down super specifically. What I recommend is actually leaving it on this Advantage Plus leads campaign right here. And then what I would do is just include some suggestions. regions. Okay, so first what we want to do, because even with Advantage Plus on, these settings will still always apply. So the locations that we target, it's never going to go beyond that. We can also make sure to do a minimum age, which again, for B2B, most of the time, even for like D2C brands, stuff like that, 18-year-olds don't have a lot of disposable income. So I usually just go 25 as the minimum here and set that. And then locations, you can typically leave that if you're doing the main language in that region. And then what we can do here is suggest an audience. So we can go open the suggestions right here. And what we can do is our minimum age is 25. So Facebook will not target anybody younger than 25, but we can suggest an age range that we think our ideal customer is most likely to be. So for us, if that's 35 to maybe 55, right, or maybe, 55, let's say that that's kind of the range. Let's go 30 to 55. That's kind of the range that we expect this type of ideal client to be in. Then we can go ahead and add that in. That's a suggestion. So it will try beyond those up to 25 or as low as 25, all the way up to 65 plus. But this is the range that we're suggesting to it. Now for gender right here, what we can do, leave that open. And then for detailed targeting, this is where we're suggesting an interest. And so I would add in something here that's relevant for your business, relevant for the type of customer you're targeting, whether that's a type of software, whether that's a hobby interest. So maybe you're targeting, roofing companies or whatever it might be. You might be doing and looking into like domestic roof construction. So that could be something that somebody's interested in right now. So we could do that. So we could add that in, or we could just do like, maybe you're targeting homeowners, you could look into homeowners as well, right? So for example, you have new house, place, so you could go ahead and add that. So different interests there. Try to find one, do some research into something that's the most relevant for you that you think targets the right type of interest for your audience. You can also do some demographic-based targeting. So you could go demographics. You could look into their, parental status, their financial status in terms of like income, life events, things like that. See if any of those are relevant. Don't want to get too crisp and like narrow with this. Facebook, again, will find whoever your ideal audience is. And as you get more data, it gets better and better. So you don't need to worry too much about this. I'm just going to name this. Let's do some lawn care ads. So we're going to go into lawn gardening. Okay. And that's going to be our interest right there. And so we're just going to leave that. And as you can see, it's fairly broad. It's still targeting everybody. And we're going to actually be doing a lawn care offer with the instant form that we're going to be creating. And so this should be a fine interest to target it, first of all. And it's broad enough where, again, we're looking for all homeowners that potentially have a lawn, right? And so we can keep that very, very broad, and that's going to be relevant for us. All right, now coming down to the ad level right here, this is where we're going to be going ahead and creating our instant form, and I'm going to show you the best method for exactly how to design it. So first of all, scrolling down here, what we can see is we have our create ad, and then we have our create instant form button right here. So don't worry if you don't see like these types of instant forms right here. You might have some archived or whatever. You might have none active, and that's totally fine. What we can do is go ahead and go create our instant form right here. And that's going to open up a brand new section where we can go ahead and design this instant form. So I'm going to click on create form, and this is what it's going to look like when we are creating our form. We're going to have to create our headline, our questions, add in our privacy policy, and then add in an ending as well that's relevant for this particular offer. So first thing that we want to do on this page is really just name this whatever you want. Again, I'm going to be doing a lawn care example in this case for this ad. So I'm going to be going lawn care 001. I'm going to go YouTube example. So what we want to do form type here is go maximize for the most volume. You can do higher intent. So add a review step that gives people a chance to confirm their info, require leads to verify their phone number with a one-time passcode. So you could do this. Again, it will increase quality. I typically just opt for more volume, and there is ways to verify that their lead information is not spam. So you could do a work email if you're targeting business owners with a work email, or verify their phone number to validate that they actually are a real lead and not spam. And so we do that after we create the form. So we're gonna go more volume right here. Leave everything else optimized, manual. All this looks good. Are actually going to turn off your flexible form delivery. Don't find that this typically works the best. We want to have full control over how we're structuring our form. So we're going to go ahead and turn that off as well. Now, just quickly opening up the settings right here, you can make this open so anybody can share this form, or you can leave this restricted, which is what I typically do, where they have to see the ad in order to actually be served it. However, if you have an offer that's, people can easily share if they want to show it to other people, I would definitely go ahead and open this up so people can share your form so that other people can fill it out. All these other things are fine. You can go ahead and leave that. Again, I will just turn on open, and we'll leave this. So from here, what we're going to go ahead and do is click on next, and this is going to bring up the first page that people are going to see when they're opening our instant form. And so what I typically do here is the best way to run ads typically for a lead gen is to have some type of really valuable offer, right? So whether you have some type of local service like lawn care, right, roofing, whatever it might be, or even a higher end B2B, higher ticket offer, right? You want to have some type of offer for a specific avatar that's very strong, very compelling, gets people interested, and really gets them wanting to give you their information because they want to take advantage of this offer that, could be a limited time, right? Following some of the Alex Hormozi principles. And so typically we want to put that in the headline of the actual ad, in the ad itself, and especially in the lead form right here. And so one that I just used was actually this lawn care offer. And so I'm going to be using this, which is 14-day lawn care rescue, free if not greener. So yeah, greener lawn in 14 days, or it's a 100% free. So that's going to be the offer that we're going to be leading with in this form, and that's what's going to be getting people to actually submit their information. So we now have our offer in the headline here, and I'm going to actually call out the target audience that we're after, which is homeowners. So homeowners, I'm going to go get a greener lawn in 14 days or it's free. And then what I'm going to be doing is adding in the description for what they should be doing next. So I added in the copy right here, and this is all that you really want to do with this description is call out that offer. So if you'd like a greener weed-free lawn in the next 14 days, entirely done for you, or you don't pay, fill out your information on the next page, right? And so again, we are really leaning into that offer, which is what we found to be the best way to get the highest converting leads and also fully take advantage of the instant form method to also further increase your lead volume. So we're going to be clicking next from here as we have this first page sorted. What we can do from here is we could also add in a background image to make behind our form. I don't typically add this in. It can be a little bit distracting, and honestly, it's not worth it. It doesn't really increase the throughput of your form. So that's something you could look at exploring, but yeah, honestly, up to you. So next is we have our questions. And the first one that we have is our conditional logic right here, which is what we can add in. So the first is your basic contact information, your email, full name, phone number, which we definitely want to go ahead and collect all of that information. That's pretty commonplace. However, the conditional logic is where we're going to do a little bit of lead filtering to make sure that they're the right type of client and try to disqualify people that aren't necessarily our target market. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to click on add question, and then we're going to add a multiple choice question right here. And this is just a basic filtering question to make sure that they are our type of client. So I'm going to say, are you a homeowner, right? Because we're looking for people with homes that have, a lawn, obviously. And so we only want to be speaking to the homeowner. We don't want to be speaking to somebody that, maybe works for a company, or somebody that's in an apartment that, for whatever reason, they're just trying to get some lead information or spam us. And so this is like a basic filtering question right here, right? So we could say, are you a homeowner within the Dallas area, right? If you're targeting in Dallas, you can just make sure that they are a homeowner within that area, even if they're just in the area or visiting from the area and happen to see your ads. So we can ask this question right here, and this is just gonna be a basic filtering question to make sure that nobody is filling this out that isn't part of our target market. So just have a basic yes, no. And so with this, we're gonna go ahead and add in conditional logic right here. And so when they say yes, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go submit form. So this is gonna be the end page for leads, E1, end page for leads. And then what we're gonna do is when we go to no, what we're gonna do is close the form, and this is gonna be E2, end page for non-leads. So this is gonna automatically disqualify them, remove them from the form, which is a great way no matter what niche you're in. Add in this first basic question right here. It's a basic filtering question, and it improves the lead quality so much on your forms. Now from here, what we're going to be doing is now we have our basic contact information. And so we have our email, phone number, and full name right here. The order is kind of weird. So typically what I'll do right here is I'll just go full name, let's go email, and then I'm just going to delete the phone number right here. And then I'm also going to do phone number. So we're going to get all those details. So we have their, as you can see, full name, email, phone number. You can also add in other things. So if you want to know their street address, maybe that's relevant for this case. So I can go ahead and add in their street address as well, and we can also collect that information. You could also add in questions around their city, state, province, country, if that's relevant for you, or their, zip code, for example. That's a decent amount of, personal data to ask for potentially, on one questionnaire, or like date of birth or something like that. But if it's relevant for your offer, then definitely add that question in. But for the most part, try to keep it as limited as possible to the types of questions you're asking. If you care about their company name, if you have a B2B offer, add in some questions around what their work phone number is, or their job title, or their work email and company name. And a key with the work email feature is if you're specifically targeting B2B companies and you don't want to get Gmails and Hotmails and things like that are typically associated with spam, right? The higher quality leads are the ones that have like a work email. You can do a filter to only get work emails in the forms, which really improves the quality. So definitely would recommend to add in that work email filter for B2B. So now we have our question set up, and what we can do right here is go ahead and click on next. So we actually have to add in the description right here. So please enter your info below, and that's all that we'll go ahead and do there. Then we're gonna go next right here. we have to add in a privacy policy just to be able to use the instant form feature. So hopefully you have a website and you have a privacy policy. You will need to go ahead and enter that valid business privacy policy. It doesn't even need to be hosted on a website, but you need to have your own link to a document, even if it's like a Google Doc with a privacy policy. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab ours here, privacy policy. Go ahead and grab this link, go back here, paste that in, and we are now good to go. So they can click on our actual privacy policy and read that if they care. So now what we can do is, this is the ending for the form right here. So E2 is when they are a non-lead. So what they can do here is, it's going to say, thanks for your interest. And so it's going to say, thanks for your interest. Based on your answers, this might not be a fit for you. Again, we have that disqualifying question. So if not, they're going to see this page right here. So we can still link them to our website. As you can see, it says, check out our website for what else we offer. We can link to the website and they can go ahead and open our website to explore it more if they want to. It's never really a bad thing to do that. So we can go ahead and just link that right there for them for any non-leads that said no to that question. Then we have E1 page for leads. And so we can open this right here, and then what this is going to say is, thanks, you're all set. You can visit our website or exit the form now. So what I recommend doing from here is getting that lead information is typically just the first step. If you have some type of B2B funnel or some type of next steps that you want to complete, then you could add a step right here that says, please go ahead and book in a call by clicking the button below, right? So you could put a button right here that links directly to your booking page. That's going to book an appointment or book in their first quote or book in, you know, your first estimate or whatever it would be, right? So all of that you can do from here. So if you have a next step, definitely include that. If you don't, then what you can do right here is you can reach out to that lead, try to get more information from them, and try to set up, you know, something yourself if you don't have an automated way for the customer to do that. So for us, I might link to this page right here, which is our book a call page. So if I go ahead and grab this link right here, I can go back to here, paste this in, right? I can say something to really try to get them to take action on this step, like important final step right here. So what you can do is just add in a description like this, click the blue book a call button below to book in a call on the next page to receive a greener lawn in the next 14 days, completely done for you, or you don't pay a cent. And then what we can do here is have this. And then what we can do is go ahead and add in book a call. And so if I scroll down, this is what it's going to look like. They're going to see this book a call button right here. And I'm going to just tell them, please book in a call. That's going to prompt them to take that next step. Now, whether they do or not is up to them, but you are giving the option to go ahead and try to complete that next step. And so just like that, we have a completed instant form. And so it's literally just that simple, right? So most of the time when you're sending people to a website, there's all this other information, there's all these places to get lost. And you can see just how streamlined this is and focused on the actual offer specifically that we know our customers want, which is a greener lawn in this case in 14 days. So they're seeing that offer in the ad, they're seeing it here, we're validating if they are the correct type of business owner. So we don't have to actually get these crap leads in and filter them later. We can filter them right here. Then we're getting the information. And then based on their responses, we're going to try to prompt them to go to the next step, or they're getting disqualified, right? And so that's how this works. We create the form now, and boom, we now have this form set up and selected. And so all we got to do now is just set up the actual ad right here. So what I'm going to do is scroll down to the ad creative section. I'm going to go ahead and add in an image ad. And so I already pre-populated this ad right here. I'm going to go ahead and add this in. This is using 100% AI as well. Turn off all these AI enhancements. I'm gonna go done right here. So this is 100% using AI. I have another video on the channel about how to create 100 plus Facebook ads using 100% AI. I recommend using that for using instant forms and generating leads. Again, the best way to generate ad creatives in combination with this. Honestly, the best way to run lead gen ads right now. So that's how you go ahead and get your ad creatives. And now all we got to do is add in the primary text right here, which I'm just going to say get a greener lawn in the next 14 days. I'm just going to go Dallas homeowners, get a greener lawn in the next 14 days. So really simple right here. And then we're just going to go greener weed-free lawn in 14 days guaranteed. Boom. So this is what our completed ad would look like here with the instant form. We have our copy, we have our headline. This all goes to the sign up form, and I'm just going to click on learn more right here, or you can go like get offer, but learn more is honestly fine in every case. And now this is our completed ad right here. We can see this is what they're going to see. They're going to open up the form right here, and that's going to be on all placements as well, stories, whatever. And they're going to go ahead and open this up. They can complete that information, fill it out, and you're going to be getting a ton of leads, which you can go ahead and connect directly to your CRM, connect directly to your pixel as well, and track everything through the funnel, really giving you the best chance at generating a ton of leads at the cheapest cost. So all you got to do from here, I would just name this like 001. What I would do is honestly just exit out of this. I would duplicate this ad right here. So I just duplicate this in the original campaign. All that I would do with this is just go ahead and change the ad creative. Leave the copy, leave the instant form, leave everything. All you're doing is just changing the ad creative to a new ad variation that you might have. And you can do that, create 5, 6 different ads in the same ad set, and you can go ahead and keep testing like that, keep testing new creatives, maybe even testing new offers if this offer isn't really landing. So there you have it. That is exactly how to run Facebook ad instant form ads to generate the maximum amount of leads. As always, if you enjoyed the video, I really appreciate a like. It helps my channel reach more people and helps the channel grow. I'm on my way to, my first 10,000 subs, so it really goes a long way in helping me get there. Also, if you did have any questions, leave them down below. Happy to get back to everybody personally there when I have time. And subscribe to the channel as well to keep getting new videos around how to run Facebook ads as well as Google ads from an agency owner that spends tens of millions of dollars on ads. And if you're looking for another video to check out, I recommend you watch this video next.